Coming up on Falcon Weekly. Pay raise. Minimum wage in California and New York is going up to $15 an hour. Hear what Montevallo students think about minimum wage and if Alabama's need to go up.
Plus, using sunscreen may protect your skin from damaging rays, but it may be putting men at risk for reproductive issues.
And have you found a Coca-Cola bottle with your name on it? Well, there is a change coming to the famous bottles and cans, and it may have you singing a new tune. Falcon Weekly starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Falcon Weekly. I'm Corey Graffio.
And I'm Jordan Ashley Ford. Thanks so much for joining us.
The minimum wage is jumping to $15 an hour in California and New York.
Falcon Weekly's Brianna Rose joins us with the latest. Brianna?
California Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill raising the state minimum wage into law today. California is the first state in the country with a minimum wage of $15 an hour. Los Angeles and San Francisco had already approved upping the minimum wage to $15. The new statewide wage will rise slowly from its current $10 an hour over the next 6 years. Governor Brown says the pay raise is about making life fairer for all Californians.
Economic justice, it's about people, it's about creating a little tiny balance in a system that every day becomes more unbalanced.
New York State has also approved raising its minimum wage to $15. The bill was passed by the Empire State's legislature Friday. It represents a 67% increase over the state's current $9 an hour. Governor Andrew Cuomo estimated more than 2 million workers will benefit. The minimum wage will rise in stages beginning the end of this year. Businesses will have 2 to 5 years to comply, depending on their location and number of employees. Meanwhile, New Jersey and Washington, D.C. may include a $15 minimum wage proposal on upcoming ballots. Birmingham recently attempted to up minimum wage to $10.10 an hour, but Governor Bentley, along with the state's legislature, shut down the proposal, as well as stripping cities' abilities to set hourly pay. I hit the bricks today to hear why some students say an increase in minimum wage could be a setback as well as a step up for Alabama.
Minimum wage increase, that seems like it would be a good idea, but you just think the price of living, the price of just commodities of food, it would all just increase as the minimum wage increased.
So although I'm not from Alabama, I do think it's important that every person has access to a livable wage because it just perpetuates a system of oppression if you're only making $7 an hour and can't afford to buy groceries or have a place to live or raise your family. So I just think it's really important.
We can only give out so much money. It would come with some downsizing in some places, especially for like smaller businesses. It becomes much more difficult for them to manage employment and their wages. So it can have its repercussions. It can be good for some people and then hurtful for others.
I feel like Alabama should get on board with raising minimum wage because so many people live on that wage and it's not a living wage. So if they could get on board with other states that are raising the minimum wage, that would be great.
We want to hear what you think about the minimum wage. Let us know on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for UM Falcon Weekly. Reporting in the studio, I'm Brianna Rose. Back to you.
Thanks, Brianna. In campus news, it's time to plan your fall courses.
Be sure to meet with your advisors before registrations open. The schedule of classes for fall 2016 is open for all students to view. Registration will open for graduate students April 11th, seniors April 13th, juniors April 15th, sophomores April 19th, and freshmen April 21st. Registration opens at 7 a.m. on those days. Students must meet with their advisors before being able to register. The Foreign Languages Department is sponsoring another international dining experience this week in the CAF. The Week of the Global Cuisines kicked off today with Peruvian food. Tuesday, you can dine on foods from Thailand. Wednesday will be Greek food. Thursday will feature Moroccan meals, and the week ends Friday with Jamaican food. You can find these international dishes at the My Kitchen section of the CAF. In election news, Republicans and Democrats in Wisconsin go to the polls Tuesday to cast their votes in the presidential primaries.
On the Republican side, it's winner take all. Reporter Zane Asher tells us that's just one reason why Wisconsin can play a big role in the race for the White House.
All eyes on Wisconsin, famous for its beers, bratwurst, and cheeseheads. Democratic and Republican candidates are descending on the Badger State ahead of its April 5th primary.
Wisconsin is a battleground.
With 42 delegates up for grabs, the stakes are especially high for Republicans. Ted Cruz has picked up the endorsement of Wisconsin's Governor Scott Walker, himself an early casualty of the Republican race, while former Wisconsin Governor Tony Thompson is backing John Kasich.
Wisconsin is a very independent state.
They're hoping to stop frontrunner Donald Trump's momentum before the race heads to Trump's home state, the New York primary, on April 19th. On the Democratic side, the 86 pledged delegates at stake are crucial to Bernie Sanders' hopes of making up ground on Hillary Clinton's big delegate lead.
We think we do have a path toward victory.
Wisconsin could also prove key in November's general election. While it's home to the Republican leader in Congress, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, President Obama won the state in both 2012 and 2008.
Wisconsin is one of those states that you really don't know how the people are going to vote.
And state officials are expecting huge voter turnout, saying they could see the state's biggest number of voters for a primary in 36 years. Zane Asher, CNN, Atlanta.
On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is in the lead with 1,243 delegates, while Bernie Sanders trails with 980. Donald Trump is leading Republican side with 735 delegates. Ted Cruz has 461. Marco Rubio, who dropped out of the race, has 171. And John Kasich has 143. Meanwhile, Paul Ryan, in his first trip abroad as U.S. Speaker, is insisting he will not eventually emerge as the Republican presidential nominee. Ryan has been mentioned as consensus nominee if Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and John Kasich fall short of the delegates needed to clinch the party nomination. Ryan told the Times of Israel that there were lots of reasons he stayed out of the 2016 presidential race, including his family and the crowded candidate field.
The Supreme Court handed conservatives a loss today in a key voting rights case. In a unanimous decision, the court said a state can draw legislative districts based on total population, not just registered voters. An issue in the case was the one person, one vote principle dating back to the 1960s. That's when the court held that state legislative districts must be drawn so they are equal in population. But until today, the court never specified whether that doctrine applied to the general population or to the voting population, as conservatives suggested in this case. In health news, frozen broccoli cuts sold in 11 states, including Alabama, are being recalled over fears of listeria contamination.
Alimentos Congelados voluntarily recalled 1,800 cases. They were distributed to stores in multiple southeastern states. Listeria infection causes serious and at times fatal infections in children, elderly people, and those with weakened immune systems. It can also cause miscarriages and stillbirths. The company says no illnesses have been associated with the product so far. A new report is taking a hard look at where growing obesity rates around the planet are heading. And the news is especially bad for the United States. Seth Kovar has more in today's Health Minute.
The pandemic has become a global problem, and it's much worse than many thought. According to a study published in The Lancet, 1 in 5 people around the world will be obese by 2025. That breaks down to 18% of men and 21% of women, according to the report. In reaching their conclusions, researchers looked at body mass index trends in nearly 200 countries from 1975 to 2014. The study found over the past 4 decades, global obesity has tripled for men and doubled for women. The United States takes the cake, with the largest percentage of its population being obese by 2025. More than 1 in 4 severely obese men and almost 1 in 5 women live in the U.S. And what percentage chance does the U.S. have to stop the rise in obesity? 0, according to the report's senior author. The planet is moving towards a new reality where there are more obese people than underweight ones. For today's Health Minute, I'm Seth Kovar.
Alabama currently has the 5th highest obesity rate in the U.S. at 33.5%. If you feel more motivated to lose weight after seeing the story, remember, all students, faculty, and staff have free access to the fitness facilities in the Student Activity Center.
Some sunscreen ingredients could damage men's sperm cells. That's according to the new research from Denmark. The study analyzed 29 of 31 ultraviolet filters allowed in sunscreen in the U.S. and European Union and tested them on healthy human sperm cells. Researchers found 9 of the UV filters are endocrine disruptors, and some of them having the potential to affect sperm motility. The lead investigator called for clinical research to determine if ultraviolet filters affected human fertility. The Alabama Department of Public Health will be offering free HIV testing on campus Thursday, April 14th. The testing, which involves an oral swab, will take place from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. at Health Services in East Main Hall. The results will take 20 minutes. Check your forum email for more details about the testing.
Remember, there's more news online 24/7. Just search for Falcon Weekly on Facebook and Twitter to see more stories and news updates throughout this week.
Looking for a match? See how eHarmony is helping customers find more than everlasting love.
And after a baseball game of 16 innings, Dane Hutchin did something the team hasn't seen all season. Find out what he did when Falcon Weekly returns.
The Falcon Weekly. Now it's time to take a look at some trending stories.
Joining us for the buzz are Elia McCutcheon and Ann-Leah Nance. So, what have you got for us, Elia?
Thanks, guys. San Francisco police took part in a high-speed chase on Sunday to capture a 10-pound chihuahua. The California Highway Patrol shut down the Bay Bridge while police tried to catch the dog. The chase lasted at least 5 minutes before they finally took the chihuahua into custody.
Attempted to take him into custody, but it took a while. I mean, he was fast, he was running. We set up several roadblocks, but he just ran right around us. Eventually, we were able to corral him, box him in.
The chihuahua was turned over to animal control, and the owner is being located. So it's a cute story, but do you guys think that the escaped chihuahua was enough to warrant the whole bridge being shut down?
Not exactly, but look at the little guy go. He's just so
He's fast.
vicious.
My favorite part is that they have the sirens on the motorcycle following him like he's a fugitive or something.
I like how the police officer was like, we've tried to take him into custody.
Yeah.
Like
he did something wrong.
It's clearly a high-speed chase.
He has no idea.
It's very unusual.
He's just running. You don't know.
Online matchmaker eHarmony wants to find the perfect job for you. The company launched Elevated Careers, in which they match people to employers based on 24 dimensions of culture, values, and personality. Job seekers upload a resume and then complete 5 brief surveys. They can get up to 5 job matches a week or search the listings by compatibility scores. Elevated Careers is working with Simply Hired and 5 companies to start, including AT&T and American Airlines. So what do you guys think? Do you think you would ever look for a job on eHarmony?
I think that's a bizarre way of going about finding your career. But I mean, anything.
I mean, why not? I mean,
if I got desperate enough, I probably would. But I feel like they should have named it something different, and more people would probably want to. Yeah.
You always hear like, we met on eHarmony, but you don't imagine like a boss and an employer to say that. Coca-Cola says their Share a Coke campaign will now feature song lyrics on the soft drink bottles. Starting later this month, more than 70 lyrics will be featured on Coke products' glass bottles, plastic bottles, 2-liter Cokes, and 12-ounce and mini cans. The lyrics will range from classic hits to recent popular songs. The Share a Coke and a Song campaign will also feature lyrics from Coke and Diet Coke ads, like I'd like to buy the world a Coke, and just for the taste of it. So, what do you think are some lyrics that you guys would like to see on your soft drink cans?
Oh wow, that's a hard choice because I like all kinds of music, but I guess a few R&B songs. So I am all for this. I think that's pretty cool.
I think they need to throw some Beyonce or something in there, you know, make everyone
Very
happy.
exotic taste in music. Not exotic, but broad. So I like everything from Taylor Swift to like classic rock.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a little bit of everything on there.
Yeah, pretty easy to.
Thanks, Elia. The UN women's tennis team broke a new school record over the weekend.
Coming up, we have a look at what all the action for Montevallo athletics. Falcon Fever is next.
Welcome to Falcon Fever. I'm Hope Finley with a look at this week's sports. The men's baseball team took on the Armstrong State Pirates this weekend at home. The Falcons and Pirates played for a total of 16 innings, making it the Falcons' longest game in NCAA Division II era. After playing for over 5.5 hours, the Falcons fell to the Pirates 1-9. The Falcons came back on Sunday to sweep the Pirates in a doubleheader. In Game 1, the Falcons won 10-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning after a pair of 2-run home runs by seniors Jeremy Hyde and Thomas Brady. Junior Dane Hutchin delivered the game-winning walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th. The Falcons won 8-7, giving the Falcons their first walk-off win of the season. The women's softball team also took on Armstrong State this weekend at home. A single from Rachel Conley put the Falcons on the board early in Game 1, but they ended up falling to the Pirates 5-1. The Falcons also fell to the Pirates in Game 2, 10-1. The women's softball team will play again on April 5th against Stillman College. The women's lacrosse team were on the road this weekend for 2 games. The Falcons beat Davis and Elkins 23-9 on Saturday afternoon. Jamie Hudak was the game's leading scorer with 8 goals. On Sunday, the Falcons took on Alderson Broaddus for their second game of the weekend. After surrendering 5 goals in the beginning of the game, the Falcons fell 20-4. The Falcons will take on Alabama Huntsville on Friday, April 8th in the Gulf South Conference play. The University of Montevallo women's tennis team set a new school record for most wins in a single season. The Falcons set the record with their 11th victory on March 31st after beating Fort Valley State University 9-0. The Falcons exceeded the previous record of 10 wins from the 2013 season. After setting a new record for wins in a single season, the tennis team fell to Clayton State in a Peach Belt Conference match at home 6-3. The Falcons will play again at home on Tuesday, April 5th against Tuskegee University. The University of Montevallo track and field team dominated the inaugural Falcon Classic held at the University of Montevallo on March 26th. The Falcons led the field of 11 teams and finished more than 100 points ahead of the runner-up, Birmingham Southern College. Junior Morgan Booth and freshman Hunter Shavery helped the Falcons clinch the title after claiming individual titles. Both Booth and Shavery passed the NCAA Division II National Championship provisional mark. Booth made her mark in the javelin throw competition and Shavery in the heptathlon. Booth and Shavery are the first 2 Falcons to reach a provisional mark for the national championship this season. And that's a look at this week's sports.
Thanks, Hope. That's all the time we have for this week's show. Thank you so much for joining us.
For more UM news from MassCom student reporters, be sure to check out the Falcon News Network blog. The web address is on your screen. We'll see you again next week.